Slicex. I've had this sword for like years. I don't know, maybe like I think over like a decade at this point, and this is probably the most use it's gotten. So you should know that. Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm gonna show you how to use Slicex, or at least how I use Slicex. Let's get into it. All right, so first, gotta find Slicex. If you are on FL Studio, of course, you're gonna have Slicex completely built into your DAW. So if you don't know already, this is Slicex. So this quick little tutorial I'm gonna give you guys is not going to be like a deep dive of any type of sorts, but it's just something, maybe a little bit of methodology, something to kind of give you guys a little running start, if you will, if you've never used Slicex before. First of all, Slicex, I use it as a way to drag some loops in there, and I'll show you that how to in a second and what to kind of do. Chop up loops, this and that, and really just kind of get creative. It has built-in filters and just honestly a lot of really cool stuff that I believe that they got from Edison and then put those features and stuff into Slicex. So it's kind of like a little mishmash of everything. I only use Slicex for really two core features, and that's the sample chopping ability and a little bit of the filtering, but more so for the sample chopping. So let's go and get into this, right? So first, step one of any sample chop, and honestly, arguably, and probably not arguably, but I bet there'll be someone out there though that will argue it, is sample choice, sample selection. If anything, I want you to get from this video, sample selection is everything, is key. Loop selection, sample selection, loop selection, whatever, tomato, right, is key in any good song, track, beat, whatever you're using for music, and you're chopping, man, that sample, that loop, or whatever you're using is key. And honestly, it takes practice to get good at just choosing the right sample for the right vibe that you're going for, and it just takes time. It's not just, pick random sample and boom boom. Right, there's a time and a place. There is a time and a place, ladies and gentlemen. So, but for right now, the time and the place is we have nothing down, and I'm just gonna go through and find something I just generally vibe with. Okay, hold on. All right, I like this one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drag it in. 9 times out of 10, Slicex will detect, and honestly, a lot of times poorly, detect what it thinks the BPM is. And right now, it's thinking that it's 131 BPM. You can see right here, it's 150. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna right click on that tempo, and I'm actually gonna tell it, the track is at 150. I'm gonna hit that, and hit accept, and you can see it adjusted the loop. So immediately it makes me, as a producer, my life so much easier. Sometimes this will be blanked out, and you're gonna have to kind of do some workarounds in post. And if you didn't know, you could also stretch this to make things bigger, because it's like, I think it was called a vector, whatever they did to it. Oh, it's like a vector something, GUI, I don't know. Someone knows the name of that. Drop it in the comments below. Educate us. And whenever you drag it in, after or before you change the tempo, you're gonna have all these preset markers. Typically it's following just the transients. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit Control Shift Delete on my keyboard, and it's gonna delete everything. So for me, this is where I typically go. I'll go to this tap onto the little flag marker tool. I'll go to auto slice. My favorite one I like to do is large grid slicing. That'll typically pretty much go on every bar. As long as I have that tempo down right, everything should work very well. So now I'm gonna hit on my keyboard. So marker 1 is always gonna be C1 on your keyboard. Or I guess C5, my bad. C5, but it's gonna be C, but C5 on your keyboard. And I can just walk up the keyboard. You can see we're just walking up, and you can see what's happening real time on Slicex. Again, one of my favorite slicer plugins. Anyway, I'm gonna say slicers, slicers to use in FL Studio. You can hit the metronome down and just play over top of the metronome and see if you can find a vibe that you really vibe with. So right now I'm just gonna do something like this.
I kind of fell off metronome there, but you guys can kind of see the vibe that was kind of falling in. But say if I just I turn off the metronome, maybe I don't have a tempo that I'm really vibing with. Maybe I don't have a tempo that I want to put down by heart. I'll just kind of play on my keyboard, just as if it was an actual instrument. I treat Slicex as an actual instrument, essentially. I think that's the best way to look at it. Then keep going. Then back to the back to the top. I already like that vibe. And you guys can see exactly what I'm playing right here. It's kind of hard to think, talk, and play on time at the same time. So that's really the essence of what comes to sample chopping. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna record that down. I'm gonna hit record right up here, and we're gonna go into the piano roll. If you're in FL Studio, hit F7. You can see all the markers. So you can see right here we have markers 1 through 16. Right? I'm gonna drag this over here, and then I'll make this a little bit smaller. All right, and this is what we ended up with. So as you can see, I dropped down the BPM to right around 72. We weren't playing right at 130. I was playing a little bit, obviously double than that, because if you double 72, 144, so just half that. And then I cut the speed that I was playing in half play, and this is what it'll sound like. Beautiful. And loop it. No time at all. Took no time at all. And we already set a vibe. Hit play, and then we're gonna turn on the filter. So cut off, resonance, and the envelope. Just play with it. Oh, and another thing, in Slicex you have what's called like envelopes, but you also have like LFOs, volume. It's pretty much a whole synthesizer kind of thing with like Edison built in and a slicer. This is why I like Slicex. But essentially, if I want to use this volume envelope right here, I'm gonna tag on, turn it on right here, and you can adjust the attack, decay, sustain, release. You can also set it to do a tempo adjustment. So with the beat we made on top of this chop, I'll turn this on, and you can see it's gonna do just like that to the sample that we have across the board. So if I were to turn it off, this is what we have right now, and I'm gonna turn it on. And just so there's a lot of stuff you can do. And that's just honestly scratching the surface. Ladies and gentlemen, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. See you guys next time. Later.